This is really the Fighter and the Kid.
Come on, baby. My brother, Pauly Shore, who I've known for 27, I think almost 28 years.
Do I look chubby in this shirt, or are we good?
No, that shirt, first of all, I appreciate that you button it all the way up Cholo style.
Yeah.
Right? And then, but you're respectable. You're like, I have to change my shirt.
Well, yeah, because I came in, rolled in with the t-shirt, but this is a big podcast. So I have to, you know what I mean?
Although both the t-shirt and that looks like you might have gotten them in a thrift store. That's fair. Because it's dull colors.
I'll just say yes.
Dude, the first time I remember, Patty Jenkins, who's...
Well, let's first of all...
Yeah.
We want to put a shout out to Brendan, who can't be here.
Oh, Brendan can't be here. Brendan had an emergency, but everything is okay.
The emergency was that Pauly Shore was on the podcast.
That's right.
And I can't be seen with that fucking guy.
I got a text that said, tell Pauly I love the fuck out of him. So that was good. He felt really bad because he's fine.
But everything happens for a what?
For a reason, dude.
For a reason, dude. Everything has for a reason. The chin, keep it down, bro. We're gonna get some pho. I just got back from Vietnam, so I seen people like you recently. Just FYI.
Dude, he's Korean. That's super racist.
I understand, but it's all part of the East Asia.
Sort of.
It's East Asia, so it's all part of that same like pad thai noodle express.
I don't know if that's true. He doesn't eat pad thai noodles, dude. Koreans eat a lot of meat.
We could order some Uber Eats and he can fucking eat that shit right now with some fucking pho and some goddamn tofu,
no,
bro.
He does.
You're being super provincial and racist.
That's good. I'm a racist guy. What do you want from me?
Well, you grew up in LA.
Yeah, I grew up around a cesspool of fucking just filth.
You grew up.
So I grew up I was 3 years.
You grew up at the Comedy Store.
Yeah, so it's like, you know.
Pauly Shore was Mitzi Shore was your mom. She changed comedy in some ways.
She did.
And the funniest thing I ever saw, and it was a lesson for me in comedy, and Patty Jenkins, the great director, Wonder Woman,
be Bob
and all
Dylan
that.
for a second.
Do it.
Yeah.
She goes, do you see what he did? And Pauly got up on Mad TV and did a monologue that was true and tragic and the funniest monologue we probably ever had on Mad TV. Because he talked about how you and your brother got in a fight with the guy that was dating your mom.
Yeah, Argus.
And he opens the monologue like this. He goes, this is on national TV. Pauly goes, I'm Pauly Shore, loser.
Right.
And you went in, and Patty, I remember, she goes, Brian, do you see how he told the truth? It was tragedy, but made it hilarious. That's why he's so good. And I learned a huge lesson in comedy from you.
Oh, wow.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
I never forgot it.
Wow.
So, I don't know, man. You've always been an original stamp. And now we're both old guys.
Yeah.
I find that very...
I just turned 55. How old are you?
I'm 56.
Okay, so we're the same.
Yeah. And I like that because there's something about... I love Brendan, but he's too young for us. I was like, we get to talk about...
He doesn't get a fuzzy feeling when he sees me.
No.
You get a fuzzy what?
Yes.
And then his pubic hair starts to stand up in
No.
recognition. Oh, chin, chin, chin.
No, that's more...
Oh, God, you can't do that, dude.
His name is Chin.
I know.
Don't say it 3 times, though. Like, that's... Because that would be 1950s racist.
So, Chin, do you ever go to the Korean spa?
You know what's funny? Like, all my friends go. Not all my friends.
And you don't
A few
go?
of my friends go, but I've never been. And they always say you gotta
Fucking
go.
awesome.
And they're
Chin
not even
probably
Korean.
doesn't like nudity.
My friends are white and they go.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't gone.
No, I love to the Korean spa. I go all the time. Bobby Lee's spot.
We Spa, right?
No, it's a spot that no one really knows. It's actually a spot that's like kind of in a cesspool part of Koreatown, and there's actually like hooker karaoke, like in a back.
So you know about that karaoke world?
Yeah.
How crazy is that?
There's
We
a
talked
hooker-
about it
Dude,
before.
I
There's
swear
a
to God,
hooker
dude.
karaoke?
Dude, there's the Korean spa, and then like you walk in, and like all of a sudden these 11s, bro. They're like leaving in this one room. I'm like, holy fuck! And there's a security guy there. I'm like, what's that? He goes, oh, that's karaoke. I'm like, yeah, right. But I guess they do karaoke and then they do other things.
So you're singing while you're fucking.
I don't know what they do, but it's just...
Well, obviously, you told me there were 11s. Now I'm intrigued.
But I don't go in it.
Yeah.
You know, I
You
go
saw
into
them
the...
leaving.
Yeah, I just see them going in and out. Yeah.
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 But were you tempted?
No, I did that in Vietnam.
You did?
Of course.
Do you have a lady?
Right now?
You stayed single forever.
Yeah, I'm still single.
No kids.
No kids.
Oh, did you ever want kids?
I do want a kid because I feel like I can love a lot. Like I have a dog, you know what I mean? So that's kind of like kid appetizer.
Yes.
You know, it's like you know what I mean?
Yes, it's your starter
A
kit.
starter kit. So I have that, but then I fucking see these horrible, horrific, stories about kids.
Yeah.
That become, you know what I mean? I have a joke on my act where I say, I say I want to have a kid, but I'm too young to have or no, wait. I say I'm too young to have a kid. And then that gets a laugh, right? Because I'm obviously old. And then I say, I want to have a kid at 70, because 70 is the perfect age. Because if you have a kid at 70, then like you can enjoy the kid and their beautiful 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s. And when they turn a teen and they fucking hate you and they're vaping,
You die.
You die. And they're vaping, you know what I mean? And they
So
fucking want to
genius.
kill you. And you're like, sorry, I'm on hospice, bro. Good luck in this life. I don't want to be friends with my kid at 40 anyways. Who wants to go to lunch with their kid who's 40?
That's genius.
like I'd rather go to lunch with you.
That's so fucking true.
Think about it. From 1 to like 18,
Yeah.
they're cool. And then after that, they become
from
maybe
1 to
13.
14.
There you go.
My daughter's 14.
Oh, wow.
Does not care about me. Like literally,
Right.
I go to see her. I don't see her for like 4 days. She's too busy for me.
Right.
And then I start to freak out if I don't see my kids. Right. So I go. I don't live. They live with their mom. So I go, but I see them pretty much every day when I'm in town. I get along great with their mom, so it's all good. So I go. I see them, and I'm like, and I see my daughter, and she's like, "Hey, Dad," and then she's just on her phone, and I'm
Right.
like, "Hey," and then I go like this. I go, "Teenager on your phone. How about a little something for Dad?" Like,
Right.
hi, and she'll go, "Really? Seriously? I'm a teenager? Be more obvious." "Yeah, I'm a teenager."
Right.
And she's already annoyed at me, and she goes back to her phone,
Yeah.
and that's it.
So I assume being a teenager is the bump in the road of the person's life, because whenever someone becomes a teenager, that's when there's that bump in the road. But then after they're 23, 24, 25, 28, 29, then they kind of probably will come back around.
Well, I have a
Do
theory.
you think she'll be coming back around like normal?
I do. She's really intelligent. I have a theory on it. I think when you're 14, there are physiological things that are going on, and you start feeling so deeply you can't even handle it. You ever know? You remember that? You remember how deeply you felt from the age of really from me from the age of 14 to fucking 40, but really from the age of 14 to I don't know 20 was overwhelming. First of all, in its confusion, in terror, in hormonally, it's just like, and then you're angry at the world and you don't know where to place your anger.
That wasn't my upbringing, but that was
No.
everyone else's upbringing.
You got
I get it.
famous really quick.
I would have had no parental supervision.
You didn't?
No, dude. I never got a whooping.
Tell us about that, because it's so fascinating. 'Cause
ever.
For you guys who don't
Ever.
know, Pauly's
Yeah.
mom, Mitzi
Yeah.
Shore, essentially created what is now known as the world famous Comedy Store, and discovered everybody you can imagine. You know, Jim Carrey, I mean, everybody. The list is so nuts.
Hmm.
And Pauly grew up around the most famous comics of all time. You know, Sam Kinison, all those guys. And his mom was the apex. She was the facilitator. She was the owner. She was the one who chose who got up on the Comedy Store and who didn't. I remember being passed by Mitzi in 2006. It's a seminal moment. It's one of the biggest moments in my comedy life, and it is in everybody's
Yeah.
comedy life.
It's interesting because, obviously we're all very close with Joe Rogan, and everyone has that same kind of feeling, and
Including Rogan.
Yeah, him and all you guys, and Coco Diaz and Ari and all of you guys, and I'm still very traumatized with my mom's passing. It's very hard for me to talk about. It's hard for me to be at the store. It's the whole thing is. I mean, that was one of the reasons why I moved to Las Vegas, because it's very emotional for me there. Because
Still.
absolutely, when I walk in there, I feel like I'm walking into my mom. Because everything there is her.
Her spirit's there.
So it's like, but she created it. So where she put the picture there, she put the curtains, the whole the whole thing.
I never thought of that, Pauly.
Yeah, so when I'm there, it's kind of like it's not just I'm a comic. I'm going on stage at the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
It's not like that. It's very
your home.
Yeah, it's an emotional. And then when my dad died, my sister died.
I didn't know your sister died.
Yeah, Sandy died.
When?
Yeah, she died. She died about 3 years ago. She died the same year my dad died.
How old was she?
She was 65. Sandy was amazing.
Fuck.
Yeah, and
Your dad, you were close to your dad?
very close to my dad. Very close to my dad.
But yet your parents, there's
my
a story about your...
Well, my parents divorced when I was 3, and then my mom, she ran the store, and my dad was off doing his stand-up. But he was still a great father.
I'm sure.
Yeah, and he opened for Elvis, right?
Yes, I read that, but I didn't know that until very,
if you look at the Elvis movie that's out now, you see the billboard Elvis and Sammy Shore. Mm-hmm. So my dad was the triple OG. I mean, triple
That's
OG.
Incredible.
Yeah, like he started the whole thing.
Look at him.
Yeah.
So you grew up with a father who was a stand-up comic, and your mom. There's a legend that you would be crying in the crib, and your mom would be like, "Let him cry.
Yeah.
He'll learn how to bomb and deal with people who don't like him."
No, she said she programmed me to be a comedian. It's on my album.
Wow.
Yeah, my mom was, and she was a good mom, despite the fact that she wasn't there. She was
When
never.
you say she wasn't there, what do you mean?
She was at the Comedy Store. She was physically at the Comedy Store doing the lineup and running the club, which was her real passion. But she also gave me to comedians. Jack Perdue was a big babysitter. Mike Binder was a big babysitter.
Wow.
Argus Hamilton was a big babysitter.
Really?
Yeah. And these guys all took care of me. Like, for instance, like Little League. Like my mom never went to one of my Little League games, but the comedians took me to my Little League games. So then I would play Little League, and I'd look over, and there'd be like all the comedians on the side.
It's like a gangster. It's like Goodfellas, only comedy.
Yeah, representing my mother, and on the other side would be my father, and he'd be there. And since my dad was a comic, he'd always fuck around. So he'd wear, and I'm not kidding, he would fucking wear his Speedos, and he had a hairpiece that was all fucked up. And then he put Band of Soleil oil all over his body and would yell at me like a gay man.
What?
And he'd be like, "Hit the ball, you little fucking shit, hit it!" And he'd have his hairpiece, and the comics are all trying to fuck the Beverly Hills Housewives. And you got Bob Dylan sitting there too.
What?
Yeah, because Bob Dylan's kid was on my team. That's why I wear these glasses. I wear these glasses because
wait. So
Yeah.
what's his name? Jesse? Jesse?
Sam Dillon.
Oh my God.
So there's Jesse Dillon, there's Jacob Dillon, there's Sam Dillon.
Sam Dillon was the one who nobody knows.
Correct. So he played right field on my team, and
oh my God, dude.
yeah,
That's him?
I don't know. It's
That's
Sam Dillon, somewhere around there.
Wow. So Bob Dylan would be sitting there, and you'd be playing.
Yeah, is there even any photos of Sam Dillon on the internet?
Probably not.
Yeah, it's crazy. Did you type in Sam Dillon?
I did. Sam Dillon,
yeah.
Bob Dylan.
The son of Bob. Yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
He's like the there he is in that shot with him.
Is it here possibly?
No, to the right, hard right.
Here?
Up there. Yeah, there you go. So he's one of those kids.
One of those kids.
Dude, so your dad was
But I went to Beverly Hills High School in the 80s.
Yeah.
So it was fucking like, where did you grow up?
I grew up all over the world, but I was
Where in the 80s, where were you?
in the 80s, I was in
Dude, how great is it that Brendan's not here?
I know.
He would fuck up this whole episode. He'd be like, "Hey, like, what about the puss?" You know what I mean? Wait, look at my ear, bro. Check out my ear, dude. Are we gonna go party in Vegas?
That's a great Brendan Schaub impersonation. That's spot on right there.
Okay.
Good voice and
No,
everything.
he's cool. He's actually very funny. Brandon,
love Brendan.
know, but forget the fact that you love him. Like I'm a comic, and I like to see people that are funny.
Yeah.
And I was in Vegas, and he came to do a show at the Wise Guys.
Yeah.
And I'd seen him at the store here and there, but I saw him do a fucking headliner set, and he killed.
Yeah.
And I was really happy for him.
Well, we just did Joe Rogan. We did Joe's podcast, Fight Companion, and I was talking to Joe. Brendan was so fucking funny on that.
Great.
He was so funny, and I was like, and Joe was like, we got to start doing that more because he's fucking when he's on, that dude is hilarious.
Because it's everyone that starts doing stand up late.
Yeah.
You get shit from guys like us.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And like, Dean Del Rey is a great example. When Dean decided to start doing stand up, I'm like, fuck this guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's fucking 40 something. All of a sudden he's doing stand up.
Yeah.
And then
It's a hostile world.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, now you want to do stand up?
Right.
And then I'm like, okay. And then he got really good, and he's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Same with Brendan.
Yeah.
So it can be done. Kirk Fox is the same thing.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
Kirk Fox is a guy that started way late.
He was writing, right? And stuff.
He acting a lot. Kirk acted a
Hell
lot.
of a tennis player, too.
Yeah.
Wait, you were touching on something before we got into this where you said, I'm so
I was
glad.
touching on Brendan's crusty ear.
No, but before that, you said something.
Chin, chin, chin. I like
What
it,
was
dude.
Like
Oh,
it
in the
too.
80s. Yeah, so I went to high school. I went to high school in Massachusetts and then
Oh,
DC.
wow.
I went to college in DC, but talk to me about Beverly Hills High School in the 80s. All right, let's take a little break. Guys, real quick, as far as Toehold is concerned, that's a company that I was involved with, not anymore. Not because I don't believe in the company, not because I had a falling out. I love AG, the founder. He's still a dear friend. I still believe in the company. I'm going to post this video of Brian Shaw not being able to pull them apart. It's just that I stopped being able to add value. I just didn't know where I was going to add value anymore. I was too busy, and they were doing great things with the company, and I was just like, I don't know how I'm going to add to this, and I don't have time to because I'm doing all these other things. So that's really what happened. So I divested from that, but I'm still a supporter, and I still wear their products because they're awesome. And so that's what I wanted to say in case anybody had any thoughts about that. All right. Let's talk a little bit about, and by the way, I'll be at the comic strip. Get your tickets, Edmonton, Alberta, Thursday to Saturday, February 23 to 25. I'm in Zanies, March 2 to 4. That's in Nashville. I'm then in New York, Manhattan, Sony Hall, March 11th. One show only. Get your tickets at briancallen.com. West Nyack, New York, Levity Live, March 16 to 18. The list goes on, man. I won't stop, can't stop. Let's get into, look, sometimes you need a tux. Sometimes there's a wedding. You can go to certain places where you can rent a tux. It always looks terrible, okay? So here's the bottom line. If it's a special occasion, you can actually get a tux made for you. You can have a custom tux. I'm talking about black tux, okay? It makes it super easy to get on-trend, top quality, guaranteed to fit tuxes without ever leaving your house. Now, here's how it works. Take the Black Tux Fit Quiz. Pick the style you want to rock, and your tux is delivered to your door in 10 days before the day you need it. That's plenty of time to try it on and make sure it wears well. And if the fit's not right, you send you send it right back. It's called the Black Tux Fit Guarantee. You can order a better size within a day or two of receiving the less than great fitting one, and they'll send you another one right away at no extra cost. And if you prefer an in-store experience, the Black Tux has showrooms across the country. So that's how it is. I went and I had my tux measured, and I can't remember. It was a long time ago. But you go in, and I think there's one in Beverly Hills or something, and I needed a tux because I've rented from other tux places I actually gone to places where you rent tuxes, and it always looks terrible. So get a custom fit one, rent or buy. By the way, you can also rent. The Black Tux is the best place to go when you need a tuxedo for a wedding or a special night. And right now, when you go to thebblacktux.com/fighter and use code FIGHTER, you'll save 10%. So that's the Black Tux, TUX, THEBLACK, TUX.com/fighter, code FIGHTER, save 10%. Thebblacktux.com/fighter, code FIGHTER. Get some. Onnit is a company I have been promoting and using for, I think, probably almost 10 years now, maybe 8 years. And the thing I will talk about tonight, I don't know why I said that, is Alpha Brain, which is their flagship. Alpha Brain started, I remember when Joe Rogan got into nootropics, and he was talking about nootropics, and he was talking about Alpha Brain, which is something he started. He was putting the ingredients on the web for people to use it. He believed in it so much. He was like, if you don't want to buy it, here are the ingredients, get it on your own. And he still uses it. And some of the most high functioning people I know use it. So Alpha Brain, there's a reason Onnit became so big. It's because they've sold over 1 million bottles. So try it. See what you think. It improves memory and focus, your cognitive abilities, okay? Give it a shot. Nootropics are the newest science, and they do work. So go to onnit.com/FATK, onnit.com/FATK, and that will get you 10% off. There it is, 10% off. So enjoy onnit.com/FATK. Get some.
It was
Who'd you go to high school with?
Well, David Schwimmer was there.
Yep.
So
Did you know Cece Horwich?
No.
Okay, she was my girlfriend in college. But anyway,
No. I don't know. It was Lenny Kravitz was there, but he was older. Angelina Jolie was there, but she was younger. Nicolas Cage was there. He was a little bit older. So it was that kind of but mostly it was David Schwimmer when I was there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Was there.
but
it
what
was
was it like? Beverly Hills High was.
It was like a Molly Ringwald movie.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It was just like joy. There was nothing but joy and fun and high fives.
Were you popular?
Yeah. I was all right, you know.
But you just had a blast.
Yeah, I was all right. I did a lot of different things. I had a lot of crazy shit happen. I have a friend of mine named we used to go to this club called the Odyssey, which was a very famous kind of teen club back in the 80s. It was all the kids from Pauly went there, Santa Monica City College, Manhattan Beach, like all the cool kids, Beverly. They all went
beautiful kids.
Yeah, they went to the Odyssey. It was an underage club. And my friend who was my best friend, he came from the bad part of Beverly Hills, the Horace Man part there. Because there's 4 different junior highs in Beverly Hills. There's Horace Man, Beverly Vista, Hawthorne, El Rodeo. And so El Rodeo and Hawthorne were like the upper echelon. Beverly Vista and Horace Man were like lower tracks. So he went there and I took him in. Me and my mom took him in. His life was fucked up because his family was fucked up. My mom always took people in. So he took him
Your
in.
mom loved Misfits.
Yeah, my mom.
The Stray Dogs.
My mom took him in, and he was 14 years old. He'd sleep over, and blah blah blah. Long story short, we used to go to this club, and the owner of the club was named LB, Lawrence Benjamin, which stood for Little Boys. So basically, this guy used to run coke, and started working for him on a scooter, delivering coke to all these different people. And then LB molested my best friend, and then killed and shot LB and shot him in the head.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And he went to prison for it.
How old was it? How old was
He was
LB? 14.
Oh, LB was in his 40s.
Was 14 years old.
Yeah.
And LB, scumbag, molested him, and then your boy got a gun, shot him in the head.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to break down the drawn out story on what happened.
But still, that's a badass little kid. He was like, fuck this.
Yeah, and he's been out. He's doing great. He's one of my close friends.
He's out. He went, he went away.
Yeah, for 7 years. My point is, you're asking me about what Beverly was like. There was some heavy shit, and there was also some awesome shit. Fuck, my prom was amazing. Every year I was a different thing. One year I'm a surfer. Next year I'm a mod. Next year I'm a break dancer, a comic. I was doing I would get into different things, and I was very into. I mean, it's all my one-man show. So I have a one-man show that I've been running for a bit. It's called Stick with the Dancing. I've done it at the store. I've done it all over, and it's stories of my childhood, and it's basically all the stuff you're asking me now. A lot of it's in that.
Well, as somebody who grew up with comedy royalty and made his own stamp in the comedy world and continues to. Do you like the state of comedy now? What do you think? Remember, because back in the day in the 80s, I was thinking as you're talking, you could get away with so much, and maybe that's just nostalgia. But do you think that? Do you think things are different? Do you think they're better now? What do you think?
There's the world has shifted, and we all have to be sensitive to the shift. And we have to. I think for me, I have to kind of worry about myself. I like to go to the edge. I just don't go over the edge. And I've always been that comic.
Yeah.
I've always been the guy that fucks. Like, for instance, when I did a movie called Adopted, where I go to Africa to adopt a black baby. Right. Like, I really went over there and I really did this whole thing, but I went to the edge. But I did. It's kind of racist. The movie's a little bit harsh, but it's not over.
Yeah.
So it's like right to the. So that's my style. Whether there's the shift in the world or not, but you have to be unfortunately more sensitive because everyone's got a phone and everyone can fuck with people.
Yeah.
And that's what I liked about Vietnam. When I was just there a couple of weeks ago, I was there. I felt like I could do and say anything.
Why'd you go there?
It's my birthday.
Really?
Yeah.
And what did you think?
It was cool. It was just, again, I don't want to say I'm famous, but people know me whenever I walk into a restaurant, wherever I walk around. People are like, there's Pauly Shore.
Oh, that's cool.
So
even in Vietnam?
No, not there. That's what I was saying.
Oh, right,
That's what I was saying. that was the number one thing that I really enjoyed, was just to be able to walk in a place and not have one say weasel, or not that I don't.
That's kind of exhausting, because Zach Galifianakis, in the height of his fame, when we were doing Hangover 2,
Oh my God.
he would walk around Thailand,
yeah.
and he would just walk. And I was like, what are you doing? He goes, well, I can walk around and 14-year-old boys aren't chasing me down the street,
Right.
you know. And it was such a relief. It was kind of like this respite where he could just kind of go somewhere and just be anonymous.
Yeah. So I enjoyed that part of it, and then I'm obsessed with Asians, and I've always been obsessed because of my mom.
Yeah.
Because my mom always had Asians working at the Comedy Store.
So you're
in
obsessed
the bar,
with them sexually or
No,
oh,
just
sorry.
I like them.
Okay.
No, it's not a sex thing. I just like Asians. I think they're awesome.
Yeah.
So in
general.
Yeah, in general. Yeah, I get excited.
Yeah.
When I see Asians, that's why I saw Chin Chin. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that's my friend.
Yeah, but
You know?
please call him Chin.
Oh, you can't say it twice?
Well, I feel like
can.
Chin Chin is a little bit
Bobby
racist.
Lee always says that, Chin Chin.
Yeah, but Bobby Lee's Korean.
I know, but still.
So Bobby's allowed to.
It's all good.
No, I'm kidding.
But you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So I was raised at the Comedy Store around Asians. All the bar managers, all their my
right, actually.
guardians were Asians.
Yeah, they were.
But this is way before you.
Yeah.
This is when I'm this little.
But
So there
still,
yeah.
even in the early 2000s, a lot of
Yeah.
the guys behind the bar were Asian.
There was the people that ran the Comedy Store when we were kids in the 70s, Suni and Ted. So Ted was the bar manager at the Comedy Store, and Suni was married to Ted, and they lived at my mom's house. So Suni would make me like hot pepper beef and Tupperware and a wok and all that shit in her room. She had a little Bunsen burner in her room, so I'd go in there and get sticky rice, and we'd just sit around, and she'd make me my lunch for school. So I'd go to school with hot pepper beef and Tupperware. You know what I mean? It was fucking awesome, and bows and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So please stop dropping shit when
Hey,
I'm doing
what
my
the
fucking
fuck?
Bobby,
jokes.
my bad.
But then you got, how old were you when you got famous?
Probably 20, 21.
God,
yeah,
that's
like
so
that
young.
time. Yeah. It was
And what a
pretty
time to be famous. I remember when you were dating Savannah.
young. Yeah.
And she was like, for us, like she was the hottest porn star of all time. I think she
Yeah.
killed herself, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But you ran it hard in every 20-year-old wanted to live your life. Like you were always with the hottest girls on the planet.
Is it okay
Yeah,
if I bring up
she-
the picture?
Yeah, that's her. Yeah.
Yeah, she was something else.
Yeah,
man.
she was. My mom loved her.
Yeah.
I go, Mom, she does porn. She sucks dick for a living. I know, she's great. Fantastic. She should be a comedian.
That was when porn was still so subversive, but there were superstars like her, you know?
Yeah, no, she was, and I took care of her, I really took care of her.
How long
And
did you guys date?
on and off for, I don't know, a couple of years, 2-3 years. But when she killed herself, we weren't dating. We had broken up at least a year prior.
What
and
happened, do you know?
Yeah, of course. She was just, she was doing a lot of drugs. Her looks were fading. She was sick of being Savannah. She wanted to be Shannon. And she had a stalker after her. She owed the IRS like lots of money. And, her whole world was crumbling. And you know what's really sad about the whole thing? She was fucking 23, bro. 23 when she killed herself.
Christ.
Do you believe how young that is? Kennison died at 38.
That's so weird.
I mean, dude, we're in our 50s, bro.
I know.
And it's
I know.
fucking insane.
Well, I always say if I die tomorrow, people go, it was a good run. It's 56. Nobody mourns me. Nobody. My kids, but everybody else is like 58 fucking did it. What do you want? You got
Yeah.
lucky.
Yeah.
And I would be. I think about that all the time. I feel like everything after this is gravy. I've experienced everything. I've done everything. And if I go, I just worry about my kids and their mothers.
Yeah. Well, you're right. I mean, I have a thing where I said, if you make it to 80, you've won.
100%.
You've won after 80, and you start to feel that more when you're in your 50s. You kind of feel like, I think our biggest currency is time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Our biggest currency is time. I was driving over here from West Hollywood. That's a far drive. You know what I mean? That's an hour.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean? But I said, I love you. You know what I mean? I've always loved you.
Thank you, buddy.
You know what I mean? I've always loved you, and I've always thought you were a great comic and fucking funny and awesome. I'm like, that's my boy Brian.
Thank you,
You know what
buddy.
I mean? So
That means a lot to me.
Yeah, I'm coming out for him, and because we don't see each other.
Ever. I know.
None of us do.
know.
Everyone's in our own own world now, and everyone's kind of like in our own.
But
little,
again,
yeah,
it's funny
yeah.
because you have these people that in your life. I've known you a long time, but I wouldn't see you a lot or hang out. But I got such a warm, fuzzy feeling when I saw you. I was like, there's my boy. You know, there's something about that time that you spend, you know, with people for a long time.
But you're also very funny.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? You're very funny, and you're a very good guy, and I've always enjoyed your stuff, and I've always like, you're a wacko like me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm happy for you. So
I just want, I don't want any regrets when I die, and I don't want any unfinished business, and I don't want to think that I did anything that I couldn't live down. You know, you have the other thing you have when you're older is not just time but truth. You better live your life as truthfully as you possibly can, because you will not get away with anything other than that. You just won't, man. So sometimes I like to do the things that, like, I kind of go, what am I actually supposed to do? You know, or you know what I do? Sometimes, like, I woke up with anxiety the other day. I was just like, in the middle of the night, I worry about stupid shit.
I do too.
Right?
I do too.
And then I looked up and I was like, I'm not going to be anxious. The guy in the movie that I admire, he just decides he's not, that life's a fucking war or maybe a battle or there are challenges, and I'll meet him halfway every time. It's like my favorite saying. This is a guy, a really tough guy one time, and he had two black eyes, and he fought a guy named Tiny who was a giant. And giant, huge guy.
Yeah, Tiny
lumberjack.
from the Comedy Store.
No. This guy was
the big black.
This guy
dude?
was a feared guy in West Virginia, like this giant redneck who was a lumberjack who fought everybody. And my buddy fought him.
Okay.
And I said, and the guy said, yeah. And the guy just came right at Tony. And I said, what'd you do? And Tony looked up and he goes, I met him halfway. And I was like, that's the coolest thing I've ever heard in my fucking life. I hope my life.
When you see meet him halfway, what does that mean?
In other words, you come at me full speed and you're 300 pounds. I'll meet you halfway. I'm going to get out of my chair and I'm coming at you too. Like, that's a skin. Instead of being like, bro, what the fuck up? He just went, ha, and came at him. On my tombstone, may it say he met him halfway. Now, I don't know if that'll be the case, but I love talking macho with you. You're like this. Cool. Whatever.
Well, you do that Taekwondo shit. You do all that, right?
All that stuff.
That's great.
Which is always.
I was watching Joe a lot. Again, very proud of him. Very happy for him. I don't see him a lot.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't get to see him. He's so in his own. You know, he's out there, and you know, he starts talking about anxiety. You know, I think we all kind of experience it now more than when we were younger. For some reason, when we were younger, we used to take naps. You know what I mean? And now, like, you would pass out in the middle of the day.
Yeah, and also you're more in your body. You're not feeling age. You're not dying one body part at a time either, you know?
But I just think it's the way of the world now. There's more shit. I mean, everyone's got these things and the news, and everyone's just like, you know what I mean? And it's sensitive. It's more sensitive now than it was. You know, not everyone's trying to fuck everyone, you know, like it was back then. But when we were younger, you'd take naps in the middle of the day. It'd be sunny out. You just like... And now you take a nap, you got to have the thing shut. You got to tire your thing. You got to take a fucking Ambien. You got to like all this fucking stuff. And if you hear a little thing, you're like, oh, shut that thing down. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck happened to us? But what Joe is saying, which I think is true, is fitness, you know, working out. You're saying, you know, you do a lot of this stuff. It probably really helps with this.
It does.
And that's why I go to the gym too all the time. It's not for this, it's for this. And I really like, you know, all that stuff he pushes on that, because it's true, you know, because...
Well, when you do what's hard,
Yeah.
I find like when I do hard exercise and I'm consistent with it, I feel braver and I feel stronger. It's why I like fighting. Like it's why I would box or I, you know, do a little jujitsu. It makes me feel, I don't know, it makes me feel like I'm contending with life in an honest and objective way. Like I want to do what's difficult and feel it. Sometimes I take a cold shower. Like today, I just got in the water. I worked out super hard, and then I got in the water, and it was my wife was like, "What are you doing?" Because she could hear me breathe. I was like, because it was so cold.
Yeah.
But I like the pain sometimes. Like I'm gonna do this. I don't want to do it, and I'm not gonna negotiate with myself. I don't know. Seneca, the great philosopher. He used to sleep on the ground like 2 days of the week of the month.
Wow.
He'd sleep on the ground, on the cold ground, with nothing but water, bread, and a blanket over his body. It was uncomfortable. Just to remind him that there's nothing to be afraid of. Like no matter what they do to you, you're okay. I like that. I like conditioning myself. for the inevitable.
I thought Seneca was a sleep medication, but you know.
That'd be it's a good name.
Chin! You're crazy, dude. Can I put some Vaseline on his eyes?
Why?
Why?
Because he's a boxer and I put him in a ring.
Oh, him?
Yeah.
Why? Why would you say
He's my fighter. I'm a fighter and a kid.
That's
good, dude?
I'm
That's
fucking around, bro.
That's a
It's all
good. You're speaking like a samurai, like a Japanese samurai. Again, not Korean, but how you do so? That's how you drag it out.
Yeah, I'm definitely becoming more my father as I get older, as far as my shtick. Like but Mike Binder opened for me recently. I don't know.
Love Mike.
I'm feeling like my father on stage now. He goes, "That's good. Your dad was awesome."
Who are your favorite comics? Who are the ones that blew your mind? Who are the ones that you were most influenced by?
Well, there was guys that no one's ever heard of. You know, like Lenny Schultz. I don't know, do you know him? Mm-mm. Yeah, Lenny Schultz. He was the best.
Is that him or no?
Lenny Schultz. He started at the store.
I remember Lenny Schultz.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who else? Red Fox. I loved Red Fox.
Amazing.
I loved who was out? Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton was great. People don't realize he was a fucking great comic.
Good. Oh my god.
Was he at the comic store?
Yes.
No.
In the 70s, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Michael Keaton.
Remember he would read the Bazooka Joe thing where he'd read the Bazooka Joe comic and it would just go on and on. He was good, dude.
He's great.
So smart. Fuck, I forgot he did stand up,
he
dude.
Was so great. And then, you got guys like Dave Tyree. Remember Dave Tyree?
No.
Fuck, dude, so funny, dude. He was like Richard Pryor funny, but he never made it.
Yeah.
A
lot of guys.
Yeah. Put Dave Tyree, African American comedian. I don't know. There he is, right? That's him. Oh yeah, this guy was fucking fun.
Wow.
Dude,
what happened?
All these guys did so much coke, dude.
That's the problem.
Like all these
That's
guys.
a career stopper.
Yeah. Dave Tyree was great.
Oh, there's Paul Mooney.
Yeah.
Alan Stevens was very funny. Alan Stevens, the only comic that I've ever seen like do a bump of coke and then go right to sleep. He'd be like, and then he'll be like, all right, I'm going to sleep. I'm like, okay. You know who was really funny? Angel Salazar was really funny.
Oh, yeah.
He was really funny.
What a character.
He was great.
Is he still alive?
Angel, yeah.
What's he up to?
He's just touring. I think he lives in Miami.
Angel
But he was a really funny guy.
Man. Yeah.
Remember? Check it out.
Yes.
But these are the guys that raised me, dude.
Damn. Do you stay in touch with him?
Sometimes, yeah.
Wow. Angel Salazar.
Mm-hmm. Lois Bromfield was fucking hilarious. Remember her?
No.
Lois Bromfield. She was a lesbian comedian. She was my babysitter. She took care of me. She was very
It's funny, man.
funny.
It's a real personality type. I think my
great.
son's going to be a comic. My son,
Oh, yeah.
My son has all the liabilities required for a comic, like ADHD, sensitive, but funny as shit, aware of his surroundings, afraid of his surroundings.
Well, it's definitely something you're born with. Like I have two brothers that aren't comedians, and my sister wasn't a comedian. So for me, I was like a kid when I was at the store.
Yeah.
Just like this, they weren't like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
it is. It's a really interesting mix. It's also like it's a small fraternity of people that can actually make anybody laugh anywhere for an hour.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like there are a lot of comics now who do comedy, but you got 10 minutes, like relax, but like I'm talking about people who have done this for so long and stayed relevant. That's a small group of people.
Yeah.
It's a really small group. And people weren't making money when you and I were coming up. People didn't make the kind of money they do now because of social media,
I don't know what it is. I think Netflix has a lot to in these podcasts. I think with Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura, I mean you can't just like fucking nuts, dude.
I know.
I mean, it's like when we were growing up, there was maybe 3 or 4 guys that sold out Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, maybe.
Now there's like 30.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So but
also just like you can just curate a following. It used to be you would go into a town, you'd have to rely on local media.
Radio.
And you didn't know who,
No, you had to do morning radio.
and you didn't know who was
That's
going to
what it
show
was.
up. It wasn't like fans. It was people who like comedy who decided to come in.
I remember doing shows in, say, Houston, Texas. And I would ask the owner, or the agent would ask the owner, where are tickets? Like, they're like, oh, every show's half sold out. You know, it's like half. And then you go on the morning radio show, Stevens and Pruitt in fucking Houston.
Yeah. No, that was in.
that
was in Philly, wasn't it?
No, those are Philly guys. Those are big guys too.
Yeah.
The Stevens and Pruitt, I don't know, they're Houston.
That was Houston. Okay.
Houston, you know,
Yeah.
and these guys that used to have the morning show.
And you'd sell out because they had
you
such
do one thing, boom, and it was packed. You do one radio. You knew, and the thing is, you knew you were going to sell out if you did that morning radio, period. You weren't thinking like, oh, I'm going to sell it.
Yes.
You know, now.
That doesn't exist anymore. There's no radio anymore, right? Isn't it weird?
I like it because I don't have to wake up early.
Yeah,
I fucking hate that shit.
too.
That was the fucking worst.
Especially
dude.
jet lag could be like 3:00 your time in the
Oh,
morning.
yeah. No, it was the fucking worst, but you had to do it.
Oh.
And then you get dragged around. They pick you up, the owner or whatever, and they pick you up in that fucking car, and it's always a shitty car.
Did you ever do Sanford and Son with Craig
Yeah,
Glazier?
of course.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, I mean, that's a whole other podcast.
That's a whole other podcast. Dude.
Yeah, these guys were fucking cokehead, fucking just. I mean, yeah.
Degenerates.
I mean, this is where Eddie Griffin started. This was, you know, Kansas City back in the day, and these
dude.
guys would, you know, I mean, hey brother, you know, and all that shit.
Well,
Like,
Kansas City was where one of the jazz hubs of the world. Like Kansas City was where it's kind of like the gateway to the West, and so there was a huge underground music scene that was incredibly innovative in Kansas City. So
Yeah, no,
man.
and they got good motherfucking ribs. Shit.
that's good
I got
too.
motherfucking barbecue, motherfucking ribs.
That's a good
dog.
Korean accent, dude.
No, that's a black thing.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm just saying it's black now. We're switching it up,
You're switching it
motherfuckers.
up.
Shit.
That's good.
Black people like me. I'm good. I'm not gonna get fucked with black people.
No, that's a '90s black guy.
Okay, well, I'm a '90s comic.
I
What do
know.
you
I'm
want?
saying, dude. Do you follow any kind of diet?
Do I what?
Do you follow a diet?
Like if I see it on the street, just follow it around. Just follow it.
Yeah.
No, I've always kind of taken care of myself with the food. You know, I don't. You know,
Yeah.
I don't go crazy. I don't go crazy. You know. I mean, I saw you in Silver Lake. We were eating at the what was it?
The Thai place? Maybe?
No, dude, the fucking place where that looks like you're in old New York City.
Oh,
Stella, right?
Cafe Stella. I
Oh,
love that
dude.
place, bro.
Oh,
I haven't
my-
been there in so long.
I know. How great was that?
I love
Remember
that
when
place.
I saw you there?
One of my favorite restaurants. Period. I always forget it. It's literally
So cute.
yeah. It's like a French bistro.
Yeah.
You feel like you're in the Village or you're in Paris. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. I had a 7-year run in Silver Lake.
Did you?
I lived there for 7 years.
Such a good
It
time,
was
right?
fucking awesome.
Oh,
It was awesome. And then I moved to Vegas. Or no. And then COVID hit and COVID hit and I moved to Hawaii. So I lived in Maui for a while.
Wow.
During COVID, which was fucking awesome.
you have a place there?
I don't. No, I just stayed there. I got a condo and I stayed there on a golf course.
That's and didn't do stand up. You just hung out.
Yeah, it was COVID. Everything was shut down. I was the only person from the mainland there.
Do you play golf?
No, I don't. I don't play golf. Absolutely not. But I was there during COVID, and then when I was there, then I saw LA was burning
Yeah.
for COVID, and and the riots and the whole thing. It was fucking bad.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not going back to LA. And I just all my parents had died and all this shit. And I'm like, I'm fucking exhausted. I want to be around joy. So I said Vegas. So then I moved to Las Vegas about 2.5 years ago, and I live next door to Nicolas Cage.
Oh my God.
So he's my neighbor. I'm the normal one next in that fucking relationship.
yeah.
You know what I mean? We go out, and it's like I'm like looking at him, going, "Oh shit!" Like this guy's, you know what I mean? Because he's
still
wild.
he lives in Vegas.
Yeah, dude.
What the fuck is he living in Vegas for?
He's been there 20 years.
What?
Yeah, dude.
Why? He wanted to get away?
He just likes Vegas. He likes the nostalgia.
Oh,
you
wow.
know, Vegas has
Yeah.
got the nostalgia, Sinatra and fucking.
Does he
Sammy
still like
Davis.
the under tapestry of Vegas?
Yeah,
He does.
Yeah, he goes to like those old school Vegas restaurants, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And
How old
he's
is
like-
Nick now?
He's
60.
59, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I loved him in this last movie,
Yeah.
The Unbearable Weight of Limitless Talent or whatever it's called. He's
Yeah.
so good in that.
Yeah, he doesn't stop working.
Massive talent. Yeah, you know him well then, huh?
We became close in the last year. He did go to Beverly, so there's that kind of, Jim Carrey used to bring him around to the Comedy Store a lot.
Really?
Yeah, because him and Jim were very, very close. So I'd met him, throughout the years.
You stay in touch with Carrie? Do you know Jim?
Not really. I see
He
him
seems
once
like
in
he's
a while.
unhappy.
Yeah, I don't
I don't know.
know. Yeah, it's like, where he's like, I'm going to be off Twitter and I'm not going to do this. And
Yeah, like, okay, Jim. You know what I mean? Like, he seems like he's mad at the world in a way. He seems like a great person. I know somebody who created his show, that last show he did called
Jim Carrey?
Dying or whatever it was, or I don't know.
Oh,
what
the
it's
one
called.
about the story, you mean?
Yeah, what was the TV show he did?
Dying Up Here?
Yeah, maybe it was Dying Up Here. I don't know what it was, but he said like the creator of the show knew him really well, and I said, what's he like? He goes, he's a great guy. He's a sweetheart. He probably gets a little bit more down than he should. It's like it's hard.
Well,
It's funny
we're
how
all
that is.
mental patients.
Yes,
You're a mental patient.
Yes.
I'm a mental patient.
Yes.
Jim's a mental patient. We're all a fucking mess.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
and
we're
money
on the
and fame
outside,
doesn't change that.
No, we're on the outside. We're outsiders. You know what I mean? And that's what makes us funny.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And Jim is genius.
genius.
I mean, fucking genius in so many levels. So, he can go through whatever he can go through. Now, he lives in Maui.
He does.
That's where he lives. And he's
Everybody
just
gets the fuck out of LA.
And he's just, he's just said, I'm moving back, actually. I'm actually giving my 30-day notice today to the owner of the house in Vegas.
Why are you moving back?
It's Vegas. I feel like I'm secluded out there or isolated's the word from the entertainment business.
Yeah.
I'm in the entertainment business, so I need to be around people in the entertainment business. For instance, if I go to Starbucks in Vegas, no one around there is in the entertainment business. If I go to Starbucks in West Hollywood, so I got to be around that.
Well, why? What do you want to do?
Because I love people. I love the mentality of people in the entertainment business. If I'm gonna do anything, I mean, just finding assistants. You know what I mean? People, you got to get people that are in the business. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just.
But do you want to keep doing movies? Do you want to start writing? What do you want to do? You want to keep doing stand up? I mean, what are your goals? Like when
Well-
you're 75, what conversation is this?
I love acting. That's my biggest number one thing. I love acting. It's like, for instance, Brendan Fraser, who's a dear friend of mine from Encino Man and blah, blah, blah. Like,
Nicest
this guy's
guy in the world.
yeah, he's awesome. And he's so talented. He's a sweetheart. He got another shot as an actor. You know
Yes,
what I
he
mean?
did.
And look what happened. So for me, when I sell out my shows on the road, I'm not selling out because of my podcast or my Netflix special or, something I did on YouTube. I'm selling out because of all my films. That's why I sell out. I have a
That's right.
great audience out there that loves, 25 years later, loves all my movies.
true.
And, I've got them like this because my movies got them like that. Same thing with my MTV show. When I was on MTV, that's where America was introduced to me. And that's this thing here. It's my shows, at least this is my feeling, it's more of an experience rather than like, oh, that guy was funny. There's a connection. Like my autograph line where I sit in the back, I always take pictures and I always take photos and all that, pictures, photos, whatever, with everyone. And the stuff they say to me makes me cry.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well,
makes me
You're a
cry.
part of their history.
Makes me cry. And that's why I keep going.
Yeah.
I connected this. So I miss acting.
You're a part of that. When you say you miss acting, what was the last big movie you did? And did you know it was your, because you had this precipitous rise like all actors and you're the most relevant guy. And then because of the way the business is,
Stocks, yeah.
when
it's
did
like
that happen?
When did it
When did it start slowing down?
Well, when I fired everyone on my team.
You did?
Yeah.
Tell me
My
that story.
agent, my managers, all that stuff. After I had my run, I was like, I needed a break. I needed to be alone.
It's so funny you stopping and everybody's like, see ya. Everybody forgets about you in America.
Yeah, no, I needed a break. I needed to be alone. I needed to connect with people. I was so famous and I was so big that I lost the connection. So when I not purposely, but when I kind of put myself back out on the streets, that's when I think I became a better comic.
Wow.
You know, when I was more connected
Yeah,
because I wasn't
course.
on a pedestal like, oh, there's the guy from his movies, there's Mitzi's kid, there's the...
How many movies did you do at the height of your... It was like
I did like, I think there was like 6 or 7.
big movies.
Yeah. But also I did Guest House, which came out 2 years ago, which was a big hit for me for Lionsgate. So
Guest
that's the
House.
star. I'm the star of that. I play the guy in the Guest House.
And that did well.
really well.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And this is
That's awesome.
Yeah, this is my movie. So everyone's in it. Eric Griffin's in it. Bobby Lee's in it.
I love Eric and I love Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby's
And
Punk,
Steve-O.
Punky's in it.
Wow.
But this
Punky's
did really
great.
well for me. This was a rated R comedy, and it's on Netflix right now.
Wow.
And it did huge for me. It was like one of the #1 streaming movies like 2 years ago, all over. And then I'm the voice of Pinocchio
You
that
are?
just came out.
You
Yeah,
are?
yeah.
You're Pinocchio.
I play Pinocchio. Yeah.
Bro, you're killing it
Yeah.
then.
No, I've been doing a lot. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, that's me. I'm the voice. I'm Pinocchio.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
I didn't
I
know
do a
that.
lot of voiceovers.
There it is.
Mostly for Lionsgate, yeah.
Oh my God.
But you know,
I
at
didn't know
the-
you did a lot of voiceovers.
yeah, a lot. I've done a lot. There's a
Hey,
big
give me
trip.
the Pinocchio voice.
Father, I came to be on my own. I had the whole world to see. I made him gay, and it went crazy. I made him gay. No, if you
That's
look at if you type
hilarious.
in, if you type in Pinocchio Pauly Shore viral video or Rolling Stone or whatever, you
Let me
know,
see
you
this.
could see like Rolling Stone or something. But
Can we play this or no?
We'll see.
yeah, you could
this
play it
first.
right there. See, yesification. Pauly Shore talks. There you go. How Pauly Shore accidentally became Gen Z.
Gen Z LGBTQ icon on TikTok.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Hold
This the
on.
one right here?
Yeah, that's
Wait.
it.
Father, when can I leave to be on my own? I've got the whole world to see.
Yeah, I made,
Oh my God.
yeah, I made him gay.
I got the whole
And
world
the gay
to see.
and the gay people went crazy. They're like, finally, Pinocchio's gay. But the funny thing is I didn't do it purposely. I didn't go, I'm gonna make Pinocchio gay.
Right.
It was like, yo, this is how I see the character.
Which
'Cause
is
when I
kind
do
of
voice-
a naive kind of guy.
Yes.
But there's a sing song to it.
Yeah. But that's kind of like you've done.
It's like Christopher Walken when he was younger.
right. But you've done voiceovers. You know, beep beep beep, and you come in.
yeah.
So I don't want to say I'm good at it, but I know I've been doing it for so long. I was the voice of Goofy in the Goofy movie. Goofy movie. I play I'm in all of those Goofy movies. So if you put it-
Drippy pizza.
I had
yeah,
no
yeah.
idea.
Leaning Tower of Cheese.
But that's a big. How'd Pinocchio do?
Well,
It's a big movie.
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah. So also there's a big trip that just came out. That's me right there.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Leaning Tower of Cheese.
I had no idea you did all these voiceovers. I don't do any voiceovers.
Yeah, I love voiceovers.
Wow.
It's fun. I bang them out too.
Great way to make money.
I can bang them out, you know, like, cause you dress in your pajamas,
Yeah.
and you just go and fucking knock them out.
Yeah.
And you got a director there who's awesome, and you got the editors awesome, and then you got the the thing up there, and you got the voice, and
I did Cars, I think, and I did what's the other one I did about planes? But my character, I was just doing this, and I was just making noises, and I was
Yeah.
like, Jesus, that's it. And they'd be like, all right, go try that again, a little bit more, like a little bit louder, you know.
Yeah, but when you say like, oh, you're doing this, I had no idea. Like, at the end of the day, our business is not about this. It's about doing.
Yeah, it is, man.
You know what I mean? It's just about doing. And the only reason why we do this is because we love it. That's it. And if you can get paid and you can, do what Brendan's doing or all these guys where you get an opportunity, then that's even better. Then your stock goes up. But,
Yeah.
the stuff that we're doing on YouTube, the stuff that we're doing on Instagram and all that stuff, it's the same thing. It's just at a smaller level. At the end of the day, it's about doing. It's not like, oh, the crowd sold out. Like, who gives a fuck?
Right.
You can go on the OR in front of 40 people about doing.
I've always said that. I've
And
always said
that's-
I do this for free.
Right.
And some of the best sets I've ever had, most satisfying, were in the OR of the Comedy Store at 11:30 at night with a bunch of comics in the back and 40
Yeah.
people, but
Yeah.
you're trying stuff out. It works for the first time, whatever happens,
Yeah,
you know?
and people put down this time, the TikTok time, and the Instagram time, and all that stuff. Like, and I get it. Excuse me, I get it. But at the end of the day, it gives us a platform besides stand up to do whatever it is that you want to do. Sure. Look at your podcast. You have a big podcast. You couldn't have done this with Warner Brothers or
Never.
Or
I would have to give them
you know,
all the money too. It was, you know, it's like, you're right. This is.
But you create this, like you created this. This is your show.
Yeah.
And that's the positive part of what's going on now, because you get us old guys in there that are like, oh, it was so much better when you could just go and audition, and I love that too.
I hated it.
I loved it.
For me, it was like, you know, it's true that if you got a TV show, it meant you could buy a house if it went. But it was like there were a lot fewer outlets.
Yeah, but that's what I liked, because more people would be focused on it. Let me tell you something. The thing that's fucked up, and then there's negative shit about it. The big negative thing to me is that everyone is a star now.
Everybody.
Everyone, every single person has got their own fucking TV show.
Yep.
So the problem is when Leo comes on, or Spielberg or Tom Hanks, and this is their, you know, their movie or their thing, people are like, okay, great. Anyways, oh my God, look at my likes. Oh wait, look at this video. This cat fell out of a tree. Yeah, that's great, Leo. Anyways, oh my God, let me put a filter on my thing.
Yep.
And that's the thing that's fucked up.
I know, and they don't go to the movie theater. They can watch it on, you know, their big screen TV. And what happens is it's all atomized, and your attention is atomized.
Yeah.
And I remember, I think we lose something as a society when everybody would go see the Raiders of the Lost Ark, and we would all talk about it. We'd all talk about it, and we'd all go to the movie theaters.
Yeah.
When it was the new Batman with Jack Nicholson, he was playing the Joker, we all went.
Period.
We were like, oh my God. And everybody talked about that for a year. And when David Blaine would do a magic thing on ABC and he was levitating, all of us would talk about it. It was like it focused our collective
that's why it was
brain.
better back then.
Yeah,
That's why it was
and
better
there was an
back then.
intimacy to that because we all spoke the same language.
And also
and
there was also the Hollywood dream that to me has vanished.
Yes.
Because the old Hollywood dream was come out to LA, come to New York, work your way up, da 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 da, blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? And now it's like you can do it in Iowa, you can do it in France, you can do it, and it's just
there's no focused attention.
Too much white noise.
There's no focused attention, right? It's like when they always talk about this with Europe. When Nietzsche said God is dead in Europe, it meant Europe was no longer a Christian nation. There wasn't a focal point on what truth was. Truth was dissipated. There was science, there was all this stuff, and all of a sudden people just were finding their own truths, and they found their own truths in communism, fascism, you know, capitalism. They're all different kinds of truths. And that creates disunity. It doesn't unify people. And that comes with its own challenges, like fucking civil war.
Civil unrest, they've been talking about that now.
Yeah, but
civil unrest.
But everybody's a privileged American, so let's all calm the fuck
Except for Chin.
Except for Chin.
Just say his name once, otherwise it's what?
Racist.
Not cool, dude.
That's great. That's the great thing about being a comic. Is you can get away with shit. You say whatever you want.
Because you tell it's love. It's all love, you know.
Of course.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Not cool, dude.
Not cool, dude. But let's talk about Joe.
Yeah. Joe Rogan.
Amazing.
I know.
So happy for him.
Well, you know, we had to talk
yesterday,
and he was like, I love doing that fight companion because it's my old friends in the same room, and I moved to Austin. I don't get enough of that.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of it is just there's something about fame that's super isolating too. Like that kind of thing where you get so famous that you have to kind of build a wall around yourself because otherwise it's unmanageable. And so I think that part of him moving out there, there's a price for everything, you know. And it's not the hangs at the store. It's not the you know, that. But he's creating his own world in Austin.
I think what he's doing is beautiful, and I'm very proud of him, you know, just as one of his peers from a distance. What he's doing there, building the club, creating it from what I understand, like my mom's, you know, which is the development of comics, and you got Adam out there and Curtis. And, you know, again, you know, whether, you know, he's isolated, not isolated, just like you said, there's good and bad in everything we do. Doesn't matter. I mean, look at Chappelle, or, you know, the guy came on stage and hit him or tried to hit him. It's like, you know, but I'm happy for him, and I'm happy he's doing so well.
Well, I saw
they talk about him on CNN and shit.
It's but
It's
then
like,
he fires back and CNN crumbles.
Yeah.
But I talk about power. But I watched his last. I watched his 1 hour recently.
Joe's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in Salt Lake, and he was like, I was up in Park City, and he goes, I'm at Salt Lake playing for 14,000 people. You got to come down and see what this is like.
Unbelievable.
And he's surrounded by 14,000 people, dude. I watched him. You don't get more famous, and so then what happens is you get wealthy and you can relax if you want. Nobody. He's still just as intense as he always has been, and his 1 hour was so inspiring because it was so good, so dangerous, so full of fucking irreverent material, and I was like, this motherfucker has not allowed the public embrace, the wealth, all of it to influence to dull his instrument even a fucking little bit.
Right.
He's doing shit that he's doing the stuff with the same kind of power he used. Remember when he killed the room? Like back when he was younger, like the Comedy Store would just be like, gay, 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 gay. He'd come off like he'd sweat through 2 shirts. He's doing that shit again.
Yeah.
And I'd just be like, how are you doing that when you're this high? How are you doing that on marijuana? It's like that guy who fucking does a line up blow and goes to sleep.
Yeah.
Joe can smoke heavy weed and be more intense.
Wow.
So I don't know.
Yeah, well, he's hit that nerve.
Yeah.
You know, and he's in that space, and he's in that vein. It's the same guy that he is on the podcast, you know, where he just kind of cuts through it, and it's the same thing with the stand-up. Yeah, I saw him in at the MGM do a show with Chappelle, and it was the same. I was so proud of him. I gave him a hug. I said, you know, I said my mom would be really proud of you. You really are a real comic now.
Yeah.
Because again, for a while, the Fear Factor thing and the UFC thing and but he's fucking like a real comic. So again, I'm really happy for him.
Well, comedy's always been his number one.
Yeah,
Like
but
comedy, he always had great reverence for it. He still does. He still gets nervous.
but he's
before he gets on
gotten
stage.
better.
Yeah,
He's
that's
gotten
what's amazing.
better.
I know.
You know.
That's what's amazing.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't. A lot of people coast. And it's good to have friends that remind you of that. Like you have to have friends that remind you where the bar is. You know, where it's like, you got a lot of work to do still. Don't fucking relax. When I was 50, I did my special Complicated Apes, and it was like I drew a line through everything I'd come to LA to accomplish. Like I was like, okay, the TV show, all that stuff, you know. And I remember I had this, for about 5 minutes, I had this feeling of satisfaction. I was like, you know, everything. And then I was like, well, I'm eating too much. I'm eating out too much. And I'm fucking looking for ways to get into trouble. This is bad. There's no such thing as drawing all the lines to all your goals. You gotta just figure it out. You gotta keep stand-up's great because it's always a challenge. You gotta come up with new shit. Do you ever feel like you're repeating yourself?
You mean old material?
No, but like same theme. You ever find like you're on the same track and you try to get off it? Does that ever happen to you? Because that happened to me, and then I had to kind of shake things.
Sometimes, but you know, I'm always constantly writing. You know, always, every day. You know, I have a system that I write, and so I'm always trying to stay. You know, like now I have all this Vietnam material.
What's your system?
How I do it, I have my phone, and then I go ba 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 into it, whatever the idea is, which is always in my mind, and I send it to
Vaseline on Chin's face.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah.
Chin.
And then it goes voice text to my assistant, and then he types it up and organizes it. Slug, chunk, which is the slug is the concept and the chunk is the joke. And I just put it down there, and then it's Michelangelo time. So then I put it up on the big screen like that. He types, every one of my assistant types at least 90 words per minute, really fast. So then I have him read it. The only way I can write is if I hear him read it. Because when he reads it, it tells me if it's funny or not. Because I can hear it. I can't write by myself. I have to hear it. And then I'm like, no, yes. And I just keep Michelangeloing the bit. Boom, 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 boom. And then I get it to a place. And then as an actor, I try to learn the bit. And then when I get on stage, it's 50% that and 50% improvise. You know what I mean?
Did you ever? That's really cool.
Yeah,
and
so
when
that's
you're
kinda
using
like the rhythm.
Michelangelo, I love that because do you ever hear what he said? If you read The Agony and the Ecstasy, it's about his life. And when he looked at the piece of marble, before he carved the statue of David, he apparently, legend says that he said to, I think Beatrice, his girlfriend, he said, "It's in there. It already exists. I just got to get all the stuff out of the way."
Yeah.
It's kind of a cool way to look at it. Like, it already exists. I've got to get all the stuff that doesn't belong around it right now out of it. And it's a beautiful way of looking at, like, the perfect joke's already there for you.
It's in there, yeah.
You got to just, like, that's a really cool way to write.
I've been doing it for years.
Wow.
Every one of my assistants has to type at least 90 words per
How many
minute.
assistants do you fucking have?
A lot.
Why? For
Because I don't like to hammer one person.
Oh.
I like people to have their own lives.
Oh, wow.
So everyone's part-time.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? But I wean people in my system. And my system works. You know what I mean? My system works because I do everything.
How do you find good assistants?
I go online to, there's different websites, and I basically have them do a 2-minute video of why they should be my assistant and what their dreams are for themselves. And also they do a screenshot of a typing test, and it has to be at least 90 words per minute. Damn. So you see the screenshot, which is 90 words per minute, and you see the video, and you see their authenticity versus their not authenticity. And you see if you want to be with that person, because at the end of the day, I want to help this person and I want to support this person so they can go off and learn and they can go off and do stuff. But I also want to be able to be excited to be. I have an assistant right now who's working at my house, who's banging out a whole bunch of shit. And his name's Adam. He's a really good guy. And he's been with me about 4 or 5 months. And he's awesome. And I shift a lot to do a lot of different things. Sometimes scripts, sometimes video, you know what I mean? It's always like different things. Sometimes it's a stand-up, sometimes it's marketing, sometimes it's travel, sometimes it's, you know what I mean? So you learn everything with me.
Wow.
Yeah, I do it all.
That's so cool, man.
And I like to, I have a long line of assistants that have gone off to do great stuff, yeah.
And do you tell them you're Pauly Shore?
Yes.
And do they know they know that it's the job to work for Pauly Shore?
Correct.
Are you on any dating apps?
Yes.
And what's your profile picture?
I don't know. It's just a
you.
photo. Yeah, I don't know.
What do you say in your bio? Hey, buddy.
No, I say, can you type 90 words per minute? No, I don't know. I don't remember. It's Raya. Do you know what Raya?
Oh, yeah, Raya, yeah.
So
I never been on a dating app, but
yeah, and it's mostly. I don't think I've ever really hooked. Maybe here and there over the years, but it's mostly just, talking like this and not really talking like this.
Yeah.
A lot, which is fine, whatever.
I guess
but
it's kind of weird. But it is what it is. It's technology.
It's changing at the times. It's the way the world is now.
They're going to come up with unbelievable sex robots, from what I hear, in about 10 years.
Yeah, well, they're doing that with everything else. I mean, it started with the kiosks at the airport. You used to go to the airport and there'd be someone there.
You can't fuck the kiosk, though.
No.
I mean,
you can't?
You could. It had like a glory hole and a curtain. Horny? Step right up.
And then you go to supermarkets, and now there's no checkout person. You check out your own shit.
Yeah, but then there's always somebody, because there's always a malfunction. It drives me nuts.
Yeah, but they're still trying to get that person out.
Yeah,
but
I know.
they know they have to keep them there.
I know.
But at some point, they'll be like, sorry, you got to figure it out, or you can't have that sandwich.
Yeah, well, they have cashiers now where you have your food tray, and there's a camera that looks at all of it instantaneously and then just gives you what you owe. So, all of this convenience is fine. You're still left with the problem of meaning. How do you have meaning in your life? I mean, it's all good, but if you take away all the struggle, then I guess you have time to kind of contemplate things. I don't know. Sometimes I get tired of all the...
Well, that's because we're older.
Yeah.
The younger people, it's normal. I mean,
It's
you see the
normal.
kids come out, they're in their stroller, they're holding an iPad.
So true.
I mean, that's just the way,
It's true, man.
but we've at least got to experience. The thing that's really crazy to me is the 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s were all the same, except for the styles.
Yeah.
Music's changed, blah, 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 but it was pretty much the same. And then once the internet came, everything, I mean, it's such a big shift. You know what I mean?
It is.
It's such a big shift the last 10 years.
Well, now AI will be the next shift. You know?
What's the AI?
Artificial intelligence.
Oh, got it, yeah.
That's going to be the next shift.
Yeah.
You know, and then like you said, there are going to be people that just, not only they grow up in it, but I think the shift after that will be us meshing with machines. That's going to be, you know, for us, it's going to be a horror show, but for them, it's going to be normal. You know? I don't know. It's really interesting because privacy becomes impossible. And is that good?
Go to Vietnam.
Yeah. Are they technologically advanced?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. They all have internet. They all have.
Yeah. I got a massage for $3 from a blind guy.
What?
$3.
Must be
It's
good.
called Dong. That's the name of their money. It's called Dong.
Dong.
Yeah.
3 dong.
No, just Dong. It was a massage from a blind guy on my birthday.
How was it?
awesome. It was fucking amazing.
Yeah, 'cause he's
well, the
blind.
difference between massages overseas or in East Asia and here is that's their world. Like they really get into it. They're not like, you know what I mean?
They're not on their way somewhere else.
What?
They're not on their way somewhere else.
Correct.
It's like in
This
France,
is-
the waiter, that's their career.
Yeah, they're into it.
It's not like they're, I'm an actor and I'm a
Right,
waiter. It's
right.
like there's something really cool about that.
So, yeah.
What would you be if you weren't a comic, do you think, or an actor?
A street dancer in Paris.
A mime?
mime.
Marcel Marceau?
Yeah, myself.
Dude, I feel like you're in a box right now. That's a wall. It's so good.
Yeah. Do you miss Mad TV?
No. Too much work.
It was too much work. It's a lot of work. Fuck.
I suck at work. Like
It's a lot.
Oh, dude. You'd sit around in a room and you'd debate whether monkey or midget was a funnier word, and there'd be fights that would break out. And I
But
don't
it was
have that
great,
attention
though.
span.
It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm
Would
not.
you play the pool boy?
Anything funny that I did in that show, I'm not responsible for. I would show up, and because the writers were better than I was, everybody else was way more experienced, and in my opinion, funnier and more talented.
Yeah, this was the
They
pool
they
boy,
wrapped me
right?
down. Yeah, I
That
had
was a
shaved my
funny
body
bit.
because they would put this tanner on, and it would make everything look so dark.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was funny.
That's Joe Rogan and I. Look at that. First time we
Wow.
met. That was the first time we met.
Wow. Where's me on there? I was on there with you.
Yeah, you were.
Did we do a sketch
Yeah,
together?
we did Pool Boy together. You were
Oh,
on
we
there
did-
twice.
That's funny.
Yep. How weird. What a fucking world, dude.
Yeah.
I wish I was more muscular, thicker. Always wanted to be bigger.
You look pretty buff there, bro.
No, you were in good shape.
Whatever. Buff. I look like a dancer.
Yeah.
I was all right. There he is. Look at me. Young man. I had a lot of gay I got a lot of gay fan mail and
course.
and fan mail from prison for real.
I believe it.
They all wanted pictures. And then I knew.
Do you
I had
wonder why? You
gay
wonder
fans.
why?
Well, I went to. Yeah, I mean, I know, I understand, but I was a twink. And I went to fucking. I went to a gay bar with my buddy Jimmy Burke in New York City with his girlfriend, and I was just there with him, and I was Elvis.
Wow.
One guy was like, "I'm sorry
my
to bother
God.
you." Are you? And I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah." And
Oh,
I
God.
was fucking Elvis.
Oh God, hey. Right.
Then I went. I've been to a couple gay bars. I went to the gay bar, the Abbey, and I was standing there looking around. I was there with some people. One was a big agent, and I'm just standing there looking around. I hadn't seen it. There's like a lot of dudes with their shirts off, and some guy comes up and goes, "You're straight, aren't you?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Figures." And I was like, "How the fuck did you know?" I was just standing there. I was giving off straight energy. Then I fucked him. I like your glasses, too.
Venice Beach, bro, $4.
Really?
Fuck yeah.
How often do you go down there? What's your favorite part of LA? Where do you go? You're so Hollywood.
My favorite part. That's what's great about LA. It's broken up into so many different boroughs.
Did you grow up in the Valley?
No, I grew up in West Hollywood.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'd have to say I like Silver Lake the best because I like Silver Lake ramen,
Yeah.
which is amazing. I also like. I'm starting to like the Valley, like Radford, Ventura, that area. I also like. West Hollywood's cool. West Hollywood.
You and I are so different. I don't like any of those places.
Yeah. Well.
It's too much for me. I don't know why. I never did. Good ramen.
Oh yeah.
What would be your last meal? That looks good, dude.
My last meal.
Sushi.
Yeah, probably sushi.
Really?
I love sushi. Yeah.
What's your favorite
I go
sushi
to this
place?
spot with Nicolas Cage. It's called Osaka, and it's on Sahara in
Vegas.
in Vegas.
It's good?
It's fucking amazing. They had the best toro. That's the greatest part about
Vegas.
about living in Las Vegas.
amazing
is
restaurants.
unlike anyone else. I've learned all the cool spots off the strip.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Really?
There are so many killer spots off the strip.
Wow.
Yeah. There's the comedy club there now too. Have you played it?
I have.
Wise
I loved
Guys?
it. I loved it.
Yeah.
You own that with Keith, right?
I don't. Yeah. Well, I helped him put it together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
love
Keith
Keith.
Stubbs. Yeah. So that's a great room.
I love that room.
Yeah. So
Old school room.
yeah, yeah.
Small but intimate and strong, you know?
That's great.
Yeah, Vegas. I have a love-hate relationship with Vegas. I like staying at the Encore,
Yes.
you know?
Yes.
There's something about it. And I like eating. For me, any place that has good restaurants, I'm good.
Yeah. No. I'll send you some really good spots for Vegas next time. you're there.
Osaka, give me another place.
Osaka. I don't know. There's a place called Sparrow and Wolf, which is on Spring Mountain. Fucking amazing.
Sparrow and
and Wolf. So good.
Well, that's
Sparrow
not,
and
not
Wolf.
Sparrow.
That's not.
Sparrow.
Yeah, that's not. how you spell it.
Sparrow. There it is.
SPARRO.
W.
Oh,
There's
Sparrow Wolf.
Yeah, Sparrow Wolf. It's amazing. Amazing. It's all fresh, all from there.
Wow.
And then there's another place called Esther's Kitchen.
Damn, that looks good, dude.
Yeah, look at those fucking drinks, dude.
Yikes.
I mean, it's like legit. It's all fresh. It's all like made there. The bread's made there, everything's
Ooh.
like that. Esther's Kitchen is amazing, which is another great spot. This is in the Arts District.
Damn. Oh, I like the Arts District.
Yeah, that's
I like
where-
that place.
yeah, that's-
is that where Sparrow and
No,
Wolf
that's
is?
where Esther's Kitchen is.
Yeah, man.
So that's right next to the Key
Wise
Spot.
Guys. Yeah, I like that. I like that area. That's
Yeah, it's
kind of new, right? It's kind
yes,
of like.
yes.
Well, that's the thing. Vegas has its own community. It has nothing to
Yes,
do with the
correct.
strip. Nothing
Yeah,
to
the
do with it.
industry. It's like the industry, all the people that work the clubs and
They
then
live.
off the strip.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I am leaving Vegas. I'm moving back to West Hollywood. And then from there, I don't know where I'll go. I'll be West Hollywood for a bit and then maybe move to the Valley. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
Will you retire? Will you die in LA, you think?
If I want to stay in show business the rest of my life, then I'll probably stay here. If I
I think you will stay in show.
yeah, I think
Right?
I'm gonna be like George Burns.
Yeah. me too.
Just be doing stand up.
Yeah. I
till
can't
I'm, like,
imagine
fucking
not- I
98.
can't imagine not doing that.
Yeah.
What the fuck am I gonna do?
Yeah. it's the
I love
best.
my kids though. I like,
But they don't love you, though.
No, when they get older,
That's
they
the
don't
problem.
need you.
Yeah, that's what
the
I'm
problem.
saying.
When they're babies, it's fine. When they're older, like my son's already like almost 12. He doesn't give a shit. Like I love. My favorite thing is teaching him how to box and do shit like that. But he's they get their own lives. They got school. They got all kinds of.
They're
stuff.
humans.
They're humans, dude.
Yeah.
And they don't want to be around you. They don't want to be careful about telling them what to do. My son gets annoyed. He's like, Dad, I get it. But I'm
Right.
like, I want to hang out with you all the time. But when they're babies, it's great.
That's why I said you should have a kid when you're 70.
I know. You're so
Because then you're on your deathbed and all of a sudden, like,
how you write your assistant program
Yeah.
and having a kid at 70 are the three most genius things I've ever heard.
I think it's the move.
Yeah.
Because, like, yo, I can't help you. I'm dying.
Yeah, I'm an old man. I'm an old man.
I want to help you.
Been
but
a good run.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
100% by the time you're 15, I will not be here.
Yeah,
Study hard.
exactly. Figure it out.
And they say when you lose a parent when you're young, sometimes it can be the best thing. They did something like all the world leaders lost at least one parent before the age of 12. Some
Oh,
crazy
wow.
thing. Yeah.
Wow.
It makes sense though. It's like Quincy Jones. Did you see that documentary on Quincy Jones? Holy
I
shit.
think so.
Nobody was, he's incredible. His mother was taken away. She was a schizophrenic. She was taken away from him at 7 years old.
Oh, wow.
He was on the street. His dad
Wow.
was always working and, black. When his grandmother was a slave, man. born a slave. So he grew up. You want to talk about racism? That dude. But music was the one thing he could control. You know, that's like for me. Like whenever, no matter how bad things get, I think about stand up. I can start writing.
Well, definitely, for me, it's the most comfortable place for me.
Me too.
It's to be on that stage and just I can breathe.
Me too.
You know what I mean? It's
Me
just
too.
like,
I know.
you know what I mean?
And I'm not nervous. People always let you get nervous. I go, no, this is where I want to be all the time.
Yeah. So
Give me an audience. And if I don't have an audience, the one thing I realized is like being on sets of films or TV, it was a captive audience. The acting got in the way, but I would have people there I could fuck around with.
Stick
that's
with.
all I
Yeah.
did. And God forbid, I did a fucking Las Vegas or CSI or something with Gilbert Gottfried. We spent a week together.
Oh my God.
Oh my God! He loved
does
to
a lot
play.
of shtick, yeah.
He loved to be. He loved
yeah.
to be sticky. That's it. And like, we would do a word association game. No matter what you said, I'd be like, snowflakes. I go, just whatever comes to your mind. He goes, whatever comes to my mind. I go, yeah, just whatever. I go, yeah. I go, snowflakes, puppies, black cock. I was like, no, hold on. Hold on. He goes, maybe I'm thinking about it too much. No matter what you said, we'd do that bit. And we beat it into the ground. He died. Did you know him well?
I mean, I knew him from back in the MTV days. We did a lot of stuff together, but I wasn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't spend a lot of time with him, though. But
Anybody you didn't like? I feel like you got along with everybody. Or he didn't stick around long enough to get into real, because that's how I was. I never really, because that guy's a dick, and I was like, I never saw it.
yeah, I think that if anyone that I didn't like, I wouldn't say their name because
Right.
it's like they were a
Gossipy.
piece of shit, and like, why even bring them up?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
I feel that way.
people, and then they come around and apologize for being a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like, oh, like 10 years ago when I was I was going through them. So I'm like, I love you. It's all good.
I'm
Don't
the
worry
same
about
way.
it.
Like, I forgive you everything. Like,
Yeah.
the people are, people have moments, or they get outside of themselves, or they're wounded and they lash out.
I had a thing with Al Magical,
Really?
which was hilarious.
Wow, I haven't
yeah.
talked to Al in a long time, but I like Al. What happened? And then
I brought him on stage, not perfectly,
yeah.
in the main room.
And he got mad?
Yeah, he approached me after the show, like fucking like,
Really?
yeah,
Al doesn't fuck around.
yeah.
But he's also a guy, if you say sorry, he'll be like, that's fine. Right?
Yeah, and then we hugged it out, and I love him.
He's
but
great.
he said he was going through stuff, or I'm like, I don't care.
But that's Al. Al's a great guy. Al's
Yeah.
a guy who will, like, he's honest. I like Al because he's super honest.
Mm.
And he doesn't mince words. Like, I feel that, But yeah, I don't. It's funny. If people have said something or whatever, I always feel like, well, first of all, if they're saying that, they don't know me, or they have a skewed idea of who I am,
Right.
or they're just having a bad time and I'm in the way.
A lot of times, unfortunately, we as people, if we're stressed or we're not happy, and then you bring it into this, and they start speaking about something and you're an asshole to them, it has nothing to do with them. It has the fact that you brought in stuff from work, or not work, from personal life into work.
Yeah.
And that happens. So it's about shifting. Shifting is really important. I use that word a lot. To say shift, you have to shift because you're walking into an environment with these guys that are here for you, and what happened out there is what happened out there, and they're giving you their time, and they're here, so you have to be respectful.
Yeah,
them, yeah.
I find myself as I get older not getting mad as much. Like if somebody's being like somebody is just doing something bad, or just or somebody's being a dick in general, or somebody's lashing out. Like, look, what a lot of times you'll see, like, somebody will be doing something and you're like, damn, they're and you go, but you look at their life and you go, man, I wouldn't want to be that person. That's got to be tough. I might behave that way too if I was that person. If I was making those choices and my life had come to this. Sometimes people come to the realization they're a certain age and they go, holy fuck, I don't have a resume or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And then they try to attack the existence. And
There's also that guy that just constantly complains about everything, and he does it so much he doesn't know he's doing it.
oh man,
Like I work out at this gym in Vegas.
complaining is blaming too. That's
Yeah.
like, you're blaming other. It's,
Yeah, there's this gym that I work out in Vegas called LVAC, and there's this guy there. He's pretty crusty. He's gotten bullet holes and shots, and you know what I mean. He's just been through a lot, but he's just in that full on like life is this, and you know what I mean. He's that guy. So it is what it is.
yeah, that's
And you agree with it. You're like, yeah, I know, bro, I get it. Da 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 da. As opposed to like, dude.
Well, that's chaos. So whenever I see somebody whose life is chaos or their energy is chaos, I get the fuck away from them. I used to be drawn into it. Now, like the one thing that Rogan's biggest strength is knowing who's chaos and who's order. He knows who fucking is thrashing in the water and is going to take you under if you get too close. That dude will be like, "Oh fuck, that guy's chaos. Bye." I've seen it 1,000 times. He'll walk in and go, "Who the fuck is that guy?" He reads things on people. It's like, why is that guy that way? What's happening? What's up with that guy? That guy, get away from that guy. He's always right. And I'm always like, nah, he's fine.
That's why he always pushes me out of the room when I come in. He's like, get him out of here.
Get
He's
him
making noises.
Get him out of here. This has been good. Thank you.
I'm glad what his name. What's his name? I don't even know his fucking name. Your co-host.
Wait, I have one last question.
Chobby.
Oh,
Shabby.
So Brennan does have.
His name is. We call him Shabby Shabby.
Brennan had a message because obviously we don't want to put his business out there. He couldn't make it for a reason.
Yeah.
So he made sure to say, tell Pauly I love him. He's always been good to me, and his Wise Guys Club in Vegas is one of my favorites.
Awesome.
He wanted to make sure that you heard that.
Perfect.
He loves you, dude.
Yeah. No, I'm very happy for him.
Yeah. He's the
I'm
best.
very happy for him.
He's the best.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you one last question, then you can get out of here. If you could go back in time and tell yourself something. If you could go back right now and tell your 20-year-old self something, what would you say?
Well, it's hard to say because I've made a lot of choices based on my heart and not my head. And sometimes I would probably say make more choices based on your head and not your heart. But my mom has always made her choices based off her heart and not her head, and I got that from her.
You'd probably make a different kind of mistake.
Yeah, and with my career, sometimes it's better just to shut the fuck up, and even though it's frustrating to kind of like, I don't want to say play the game, but just be a little bit more back. You know what I mean? Like, I'm an animal, and I need to be free. But sometimes that's not right too. Sometimes you got to play the game and be cool and
Cooperate.
I think cooperate. And I don't know if it's called the game, but it's called just play the business. And
Or bide your time.
What?
Bide your time.
Yeah.
It's something called sacrifice.
Because
you bargain with the future. Like it's like, I'll do this now because I know it's going to pay off later. That idea.
Yeah, I just think that my managers and agents that represented me back in the day were amazing people, really good guys. Loved them, and they tried, but I needed to be away here, and maybe here I shouldn't have. Maybe I should have said, hey, just take a break. Yeah. I don't need to work right now. Like, I love you guys, not like get rid of everyone.
Right.
And I think that that put me in a different chorus or path in my career. And I took things very personal, as opposed to saying, oh, this is just the business. Like I had an awesome run. And, but again, based off of my heart as opposed to my head. And I think if anyone's going to learn from this podcast or this experience that I've gone through, I'm older, is sometimes it's good to like check yourself and make your decisions based off of your head and not your heart. But it's hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard.
Especially when you're young and you're all heart and no head.
Yeah.
Right? That's a bitch.
Yeah.
I think I'd probably...
Am I right?
I think I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
I think I would agree with that.
Because you get like this thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's a weird thing, right?
It's a really weird thing because you know, I would say key in, don't lie to yourself. Key into what you actually honestly revere, but sometimes you don't know until you do it. So sometimes you have to make these mistakes. Otherwise,
it's called shifting into being more of a professional situation as opposed to being a personal. Not taking it personal. Go back to business.
That might be why manners and protocol are so important in a lot of cultures. You know, like I feel like in a lot of cultures, it's like being reserved and polite and never losing your cool in public, for example, or in professional relationships is paramount. You're taught that from a very young age, right? Very young age.
Yeah.
And that would be like, certainly if you were Korean or Japanese or English or whatever, that's paramount. Manners are fucking everything. And I didn't grow up with that enough. There's another side to that, which is you as an American are allowed to express yourself and say fuck this and be kind of more John McEnroe and not Roger Federer or something. I don't know.
But it's also
that was a
like
tennis metaphor, terrible.
But it's also how you're raised. Let me say that again. Let me say it again. It's how you're raised and who raises you. I had no one raising me. Okay? My dad was not there. My mom was busy. So I didn't have that Shaquille O'Neal father Phil, who's a military guy, hitting Shaquille in the fucking face, going, "No, asshole, that's not how it's done."
I don't think that would have worked on you though, because that works on kids that have a personality that falls into that line. Creative kids don't do well with that kind of discipline necessarily.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I think you would have grown to hate whoever did that to you.
Yeah. I fought my mom a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were already a free spirit. You were already somebody who was like, I don't want to do it the way normal people do. Mm-hmm. And that a lot of times is what you get when you need a certain amount of neurosis, maybe a certain amount of anxiety, a certain amount of a wild sort of like self-destructiveness to be creative, I think sometimes. I really do. I think sometimes to be creative, you got to be fucking a little out of control, even with yourself. You know?
Yes, and that's what I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was.
You want people to like you so badly. That was my thing, is I just wanted people to like me no matter what.
Yeah.
Because of maybe the way I grew up, you know?
Yeah, but I didn't have I didn't have that person to sit down with to be like, hey, I'm at a crossroads.
So your mom and dad wouldn't be that person when you would ask them?
They were busy.
Wow.
You know, they were busy, you know what I mean? And and I'm not saying they weren't there for me, but they were, you know, my mom had her passion, which is the comedy store and the comedians, and my dad was on the road.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What about your older brothers?
No, I mean, they were off doing their own thing. You know, my family's weird. We're all kind of like in our own, you know, our own place, you know. My one brother's in Portland, my brother's in San Diego, you know, you know what I mean?
It's really interesting.
Yeah, and it's like we're all in our own kind of sphere or atmosphere or whatever. So, but I think it just goes back to looking in the mirror and making a decision based off of your heart versus your head. With your head, you could stop and kind of check yourself and be like, wait a minute. And then, you know what I mean? As opposed to this, which is like this, you know, when you know you're getting fucked over, you know things are fucked, you kind of react off of this.
Yes.
It's kind of like drugs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, you know, like I've partied before, but I've never partied before. I've never pulled the Charlie Sheen all-nighter 4-day thing. And I think that's this. Do you know what I mean? Not like this, or I'm like, let's keep going. This is awesome. Let's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like even with partying with Kennison, you know, he was that guy that would go for 4 or 5 days.
Damn.
You know, he was that guy, and I just was never that guy. And that's because of this.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, oh, I want to be with Sam Kennison, and I'm going to fucking go for 4 days just like him. I never did that.
I just didn't have the constitution. I'm just a bitch. If I drink 2 glasses of whiskey the next day, I'm like, I can't for a week.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's not even discipline. It's just that I'm more delicate.
But it's interesting. It's interesting. You know, some decisions we make in life really affect. I mean, you look at the guys that are in jail. You know, that one that I mean, you see
One
these shows,
decision.
that one little thing.
One fucking little thing, man.
You know that, you know, so you got to be really, you know, and whether it's your career, whether it's a relationship with a woman, whether it's a relationship with a family, you know, whatever it is.
Yeah, I think somebody said who has done everything right, and has got all the money and everything. And he said, I used to think that the most important thing for my kids was to find out what you want to do with your life, and now I think the most important decision they can make is who they choose to marry or who they choose to be with. I never thought of that, you know, and I agree with it. And that's what I agree with. That's what I agree with. I don't know. I mean, you still make mistakes. You can still enter every relationship like with a full heart and complete honesty and still get burned or it doesn't work out or people change in the relationship. I don't know. I just think that in a lot of ways, like we're existentially fucked. Maybe that's the point. If you're trying to be perfect or you're trying to not make mistakes, that's hilarious. It's adorable.
Yeah, because it's going to happen.
Yeah, that might be why you and I, when we saw each other just now, had this bond of intimacy. I think there's an understanding of that. Like, the competition is done. I'm not trying to win anything. I'm just happy to see you. I'm happy to see that you're alive and that you're still doing what you're doing and I'm doing what I'm doing. And that makes me feel good that we've been on this journey. You know, and strangers of the night, I would see you, we touch points, but I know what I think part of being a comic when I see a guy like you is I know a lot about your life. Whether you know a lot about my life just because we've done the same thing for so long. And that's kind of cool. You know, it's kind of cool. So Pauly Shore, you're the best, man. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
I adore you.
I adore you.
Yeah. And Brendan,
where are you going to be? Where can we find you?
no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, Brendan. Hey.
Yeah, Brendan. No, Brendan,
Shab.
again, missed you today, but everything happens for a reason. I hope whatever's going on in your personal life, it's all taken care of, and I'll see you next time, and everything's cool.
Where are you going to be?
I'll be, when does this air?
Tomorrow, Thursday.
Oh, shit.
12 p.m.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I will be in Atlanta.
Ooh.
Atlanta. I'll be at Comic-Con there signing pictures next to Brendan Fraser and Sean Astin for Encino Man.
Damn.
Encino Man 2, the sequel. And then, no, I'm just kidding. No, I'll be there. And then we'll be at I think it's called the Atlanta Theater or something in Atlanta. What is it called? Atlanta Comedy Theater. And then all the other shows are sold out, which is cool.
Damn,
all
dude.
my other shows are sold out.
Good for you.
Which is cool, which is awesome.
Dayton, Funny Bone, you're all sold out.
There's Fort Wayne.
I just did Fort Wayne.
Yes,
I loved it.
The guys, right?
I loved it.
Those guys are great.
They're great.
Yeah, Adam. Yeah,
they're
the best. Yeah.
They run a great club, dude.
Oh, yeah, all those guys.
You know what I heard is really good? The Blue Room in
I've done it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Chris, right?
Amazing.
I'm on text with him. I got to.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Great
I heard
room.
Great things about that.
Yeah,
so
great
I want to
room.
go do that. I'm at a comic strip in Edmonton, Alberta. We are not sold out yet. Let's go. February 23, 24, 25. Zanies, March 2, 3, and 4 in Nashville, Tennessee. Sony Hall, one show only. March 11th, New York City. Come get some. West Nyack, New York, Levity Live. March 16 to 18. I'll see you there.
Yeah, we're playing all the same spots.
I know. Naples, Florida for Brendan Schaub. February 16, 17, 18 at Off the Hook Comedy Club, Bakersfield, California. February 23. Pasadena, California, February 25. He's got Brea, California, March 3rd. One show only. He's doing a lot of one shows. Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, at the Summit Comedy Club, the same guys, March 9, 10, and 11.
Yeah. Also, definitely go check out Brian and Brendan when you're out there. Support live comedy and all that. Let's have some fucking laughs. Also, I'm in a band called Pauly Shore and the Crusties.
Oh, shit. That's right.
And we're going to be Pauly Shore and the Crusties. We're going to be at the Sand Dollar, which is the club in Vegas, on March 14th. And then I'll also be at South by Southwest with my podcast called Jam in the Van Podcast, hosted by Pauly Shore. And we'll be doing a show out there. There's my band, the Crusties.
So you're doing the damn thing.
Yeah.
Bro.
So
it's great.
Yeah.
Look at those guys. Look at those old guys.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. See, look at the Rocket Man guy. Look at that. That's Rocket Man right there.
Hilarious.
See?
Yeah.
Which one?
So I've been in this band for a couple of years, and we do shows around Vegas. It's pretty much called Pauly Shore and the Crusties, and it's me with like a bunch of senior citizens.
I didn't know you could sing.
Well, I can't. That's the joke.
Oh my God.
But I commit like I can.
Do you sing covers?
Yeah, all covers.
What are your favorite covers?
Well, they're all on there. There's Rape Me. There's by Nirvana. There's Sabotage. Old Man by Neil Young.
Oh man, take a look at my
Drop
life.
the Bomb.
You dropped the bomb on me.
Right.
Baby.
So we do these songs out of my garage in Vegas.
Oh my God.
But yeah.
Well, walk. Run. Don't walk.
Yeah, Bad
Get
to the
those tickets.
Bad to the Bone. So March 14th, and this is my kind of send off to Vegas because I'm leaving Vegas. We just put in my 30-day notice. 30-day notice today, and I'm moving behind the Comedy Store. I have a house up there, and I'll be by the store. I need to be by my mom and by the club. You know, I need to have the comics see
You're gonna
me.
be down there a lot.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I love Richie and Emily, and all of them are doing great over there. And
Good.
you know, it's
hi.
for
awesome.
sure. So
All right, kids. This has been Pauly Shore, Fighter and the Kid. We're out.
sauna.